Hey everybody, today we are going to take a look at some original German fairy tales. And since German fairy tales are not exactly known for being child-friendly, some might even consider them mildly disturbing, I decided to use Google Translate and about 20 different languages to alter their stories a bit. So without further ado, I present to you Snow White and Seven Cows. One winter's day, the prince sat in front of a dark window. He pricked his finger with a needle. When she saw 3 drops of blood falling on the snow, she said, "If I had a child, the snow would be white, red, bloody, and black as wood." I believe her wish was complete and granted. Birth. A daughter named Pooty. Because his skin is white, his cheeks are red, and his hair is black, the queen is dead. A year later, the king married a new princess. Very nice and simple. There's also a mirror. Every morning I stand in front of the mirror and ask, who is the most beautiful woman in the world? The mirror was saying,
"Ma'am, you're the most beautiful woman in the world."
So the jealous mother ordered the hunter to end the boy in the middle of the forest and take his lungs and heart as evidence. But the man sent a beggar to bring the breast and the child's heart to the queen. They cooked and ate it. It was snowing in the forest and he arrived at a small house with a table for 7 people. The child was found lying on the bed on the 7th floor, and people marveled its beauty. In the morning, Snow White explained the situation to them and agreed to stay at home and do the household chores. Now the dwarf was alone in the sun. Back at the castle, the ugly prince turned to the mirror again and asked about the most beautiful woman in the kingdom. He tells her that
Snow White is still alive, hiding behind the 7 mountains in the house of the 7 nations.
Thus the lady dressed the girl in 3 outfits and paid her money. The first 2 times, the dwarf successfully released the belt and brought Snow White back. Thirdly, I don't know why the girl died. For fun, they put her in a glass box called Snow White and pretended to sleep. The box is placed on top of the mountain. The wild animals of the forest cried over the girl's death. One of the cakes kept bothering them. The ugly princess looked in the mirror and realized that she had become so beautiful. One day, the king died in a car accident, but the king fell in love. He asked the hero to touch the handsome prince's chest, because he can't live without him. Finally, the bitter apple escaped Snow's throat. When he woke up, it was the wedding of the princess and the snowman. The evil prince was invited and surprised to see the girl and how beautiful she looked in the mirror. While he was dancing in the lake as punishment for what he had done with the hot iron, he saw a white man die and everyone lives happily. This always reminds me of the good old days when my grandparents used to read me these fairy tales before going to bed. Not gonna lie though, I'm kind of disappointed that there wasn't a single cow in this version, even though the title promised it. So let's have a look at the second story with a little bit more animal interaction. Cinderella. Girls from rich families are attractive. When his mother died in her bed, he asked his son to plant a tree on her grave. So, if he wants, he can do it. 2 years after my mother died, my father married a widow and 2 daughters. The girl's life was complicated by the attentive care of her mother and sister. This girl was called Cinderella. Cinderella's sister gave her a bowl of rice in preparation for the evening's play and study. While Cinderella was working, 2 pigeons came and asked if they could help her. Cinderella replied, "Well, the product contains bad things and the bottle contains good things." Then she stood among the pigeons on the stairs and looked at her brothers. In the morning, the brothers looked at the literature they were reading. He then sensed Cinderella watching him and ended the pigeon. Pigeons flew to help him with his work. They asked her to go to the tree in front of her mother's grave and look for a beautiful dress. Cinder shook the tree and said, "Tree, shake and give me a beautiful garment." As he spoke, a silver garment, oil, silver gloves and shoes appeared before him. By the time she finished undressing, 6% silver was already waiting at the door to take her to the castle. Meanwhile, the king believes that an unknown prince lives in his palace and the unknown sister is angry because there's someone higher than her. At midnight, Cinderella leaves the ball and puts the dress back on the Christmas tree. The brothers are not feeling well in the morning, so Cinderella peas in a cup should be well cared for. The pigeon helped him again and went to the tree to buy new clothes. Currently it is made of gold, precious stones and comes with gold shoes. When his sister saw him, their eyes were filled with jealousy because they could not see him. Cinderella was forgotten in the night. When he heard the cry, he remembered that he had seen a pigeon and he was afraid. Back at the castle. The king declared that married women should only wear appropriate shoes. because only a few shoes fit every situation. The king's son also went to his father's house. On the advice of his mother, the man's legs were first amputated. Someone broke a finger. But as he entered the door, he saw the horns of 2 pigeons and shouted, "Please don't cry, please don't honk. If the shoe bleeds, the shoe becomes smaller and the bride stays at home." And everyone lives happily. There you have it, kids. Don't always listen to the advice your mother gives you, or your legs might get amputated. Looks like Google Translate really chose violence today. But hey, if you enjoyed this nonetheless, now's your chance to subscribe and to tell me what you want to see next. Until then, take care, in a bit.